Are enemies, but now Syria is trying to regain its position of prominence. Modern Syria is alive with its history as a crossroad. It's a mix of traditional and modern, Muslim and Christian, peasant and urban, all descendants of the travelers or merchants who came to the state. It's a new Syria. The days of gold and jewels and perfumes may be over, but now a new commodity must pass through Syria: political power. It's the statesmen and the politicians who now come to Damascus with settlements stuffed in their pockets, settlements that get rewritten and reshaped by their stopover. Syria sees itself at the center of the Mideast. It sees itself as the heart or conscience of the Arab world, the keeper of Arab nationalism, the leader in the fight against Israel. And from the number of big politicians that have been coming through here, they don't seem to be alone in that assessment. The leader they all come to see is in this limousine. He's returning after months of illness, and his welcome was spectacular. To the Syrians, Hafez Assad is no ordinary hero. Despite his illness, despite a devastating defeat by the Israelis in Lebanon, despite U.S. efforts to sidestep, he has turned events around in his favor. These supporters chant, "With our blood and with our soul, we will sacrifice ourselves for you, Hafez Assad." In the 13 years since he seized power, he has achieved an indispensable role for Syria in the Middle East.
And every reason to believe we're in for an entertaining match here. It is Manchester City taking on Liverpool. And the decision is one of...
Now U.S. envoy Donald Rumsfeld comes to Syria. Saudi, Moroccan, and French mediators all come to get Assad's approval. Night and day, the limousine is full up, bringing diplomats just learning about a new force. In any Mideast education, Syria has become one of the first stops.
Being able to Damascus in my first Middle East visit is a sign of the high importance attached to the views and policies of the Syrian government.
They try to persuade, to pressure, to mollify, but more often than not, they come away frustrated if Syria goes its own way. Our policy has its own admirers and followers. India, from one of the people. Are you new leaders in the Arab world today? Well, we don't want to say that, but as a matter of fact, Syria now is taking a leading role. And this is now on the surface of history. Can I try to get them out, avoid them in Lebanon? Now they're back to Damascus. All the Americans are back to Damascus. Like, why?
Does he have the ball again?
There are pillars, Arab policy. Syria is the heart of the Arab nation. You cannot avoid Syria when you believe in the Middle East. You just can't avoid Syria. Be it Syria of Hafez Assad, or be it Syria of anybody. Syria is at the center of Arab policy. Much of its importance is geographic. For example, to the south, the Syrians face the Israelis on the Golan Heights. It shares borders with Jordan and Iraq. To the west is Lebanon, a country on the verge of being swallowed up by Syria. Since 1976, at the invitation of the Lebanese, Syria has controlled a large section of Lebanon. Now, with the help of its Lebanese allies, that area grows daily. Much of Lebanon is now a kind of extended Syria, under its control, guarded by its army. This is Lebanon, but these soldiers are Syrian. There are more than 15 checkpoints one has to pass through to drive from Beirut to Damascus. Syrian arms go through here. So do army transports carrying men from one position to another. This checkpoint is at the entrance to Bir Shwar. It's a Christian village in central Lebanon. Like most of the towns overlooking Beirut, Syrian soldiers are everywhere. They live here and walk around as if the town is theirs rather than Lebanese. Deir Shwayar has a special importance. It's less than 2 kilometers from Betfaya, the home of the Gemayels. From Deir Shwayar, you can look down at the streets around the president's personal headquarters. You can easily pick a target. The Syrians are that close. Usually, they don't allow pictures here. A U.S. sound man was kidnapped 2 days before we arrived, but we could come and go safely because we were with these men, Lebanese, Deir Shwayar, who'd like to be part of Syria.
We Lebanese, we think that there are national, geographic, historic relations between Lebanon and Syria, human brothers.
What's the Syrian goal and what is your goal? Do you want again?
Not by force, but by consent and by gradual development. We would like to be one, but until then, we respect and defend the independence of Lebanon. And we think that our Syrian brothers support us in this defense.
We and the Lebanese are one nation. One nation. What that means, the Syrian minister Farouk Shah is time on Syria's side. Unlike the Israelis, they're in no rush to leave.
So we are not foreign. We can stay there so long. And the Americans are foreigners, the French are foreigners, the Israelis are foreigners. We are staying in a hostile climate, atmosphere.
Silva.
We are in our brotherhood.
That kind of unity works 2 ways. While the Syrians stay in Lebanon, a number of factions opposed to the Lebanese government are now waging their campaigns out of Damascus. They're against Gemayel's dealings with the Israelis, and they're all working out of Damascus to get their message across. Damascus has become the center for the hardliners. Libyan Minister Abdul Jalud calls it the Hanoi of the Mideast. Recently, he met with leaders of the rebel PLO faction now headquartered here. They include Abu Musa, who defeated Arafat in Tripoli. Now that they control the Palestinian forces in the region, this coalition is once again turning to the Israelis and to what they call the crusading forces.
Year 84 will be a year of volcano. It will be a year of destruction to so-called cruising the forces of the multinational forces, a year of destruction.
Damascus is not discouraging that kind of rhetoric, and militarily at least has been actively backing the factions that are pushing to unseat President Gemayel. That's one of the reasons Druze leader Walid Jumblat now works out of here, rather than from the swamp in Lebanon. When he's interviewed, typically with a glass of brandy, he repeats how much he hates the Gemayels.
Never will accept the rule of this damn family in the communist movement, whatever the price is and whatever the consequences are.
If you're wondering about stoppage time, 1 minute
That's what
to
you
be
feel. Do you think that Syria really will help you do that? Yeah, there is.
Syrian conflict.
But you'd like their assistance.
If they can provide it, why not? If they don't want, for some reason, it will not change my will. Never.
Have they given you any indication that they would help?
Stuart, your take?
Ask them.
I'm asking you, Austin, from your point of view, have you felt that they've
Getting
given
now
you
in a
any
position,
Both from him and the rest of the team in the second half,
and it will
if they're to
stay.
get something out of this game.
That excellent relation is largely based upon military support. Tanks, arms, and rockets that the Syrians got from the Soviets and are now selling or giving to the Druze. Last week, on one day, some 400 tons of ammunition were reportedly trucked to the Druze front lines. This was just an exercise, but in Lebanon, the targets are real. The man who did a lot to build that army is General Sloss, Syria's Minister of Defense. He loves movie stars, the glamour. He loves beautiful objects. and he's an avid collector of guns. His private library at home includes gifts from Lebanese ex-President Frangia, Fidel Castro, and various mementos from the Israelis that were not gifts. His concern in Lebanon is not Gemayel, but Israel, in getting Lebanon firmly back in the Arab fold.
لكن لو كان تحت كان كل الشعب يجب يترك السلام.
Today, the main rallying point of the Syrians is its army. President Assad and General Slav on his right have made the threat of war the catalyst that keeps the country together. The army is everywhere, streets throughout the city. Convoys and transports drive through every intersection in Damascus. Army barracks are tucked away in downtown military camps and no helmets allowed. As long as the threat of war exists, as long as the people support the army, Syria will persevere.
Well, when you see this again, I think the goalkeeper's very unlucky. He makes a good initial save,
And that pledge of support has to come from every segment of the country.
So the action continues. The City looking to offer a swift.
These women are on their way to a workers' meeting. The Ba'ath Party, like the government headed by President Assad, will run the meeting and organize the speeches. This is where socialism begins to reach down to the level of the people. The government of President Assad isn't a structure or a force, if you will, imposed on the country. It's also a network of influences that are spread throughout every aspect of society. Factory production, wages, food prices, agriculture, education. Every element of society is somehow linked to the Ba'ath Party. And it's that kind of influence that not only manages a country, it also watches and controls it. Today's meeting is special. Syria's Minister of Labor, on your left, has arrived to give out the Heroes of Production Awards and to address the workers. This kind of meeting takes place twice a year in every factory, in every business throughout the country. Mahmoud Kaddour talks about the Zionist capitalist threat. He talks about the sacrifices workers must make to keep Syria strong against its enemies. Politics and production all mixed together in a message of nationalism that goes on for more than 2 hours.
Well, here we can see it again. Normally I'm the first to point the finger
At the end, the awards are handed out, ironically radios and pens from so-called Western capitalistic countries. The winners, those who serve their state best. Production, not wages, is the concern of the price of work. The average workers here make some 700 Syrian pounds a month, equal to about $130. If they produce more, they can earn more, but there's rarely any overtime. They have to do the work within the 8-hour day. That's what socialism is. You work for the state, not yourself. That lesson is taught very early. These are the young vanguards who are schooled daily in a kind of Syrian catechism. The people work for the state, they are told. The state is for the people. And the workers and peasants all benefit. Workers and peasants, they really are called that, are the cornerstone of the Syrian state. This field is near Bayt, a village about an hour's drive north of Damascus. In many ways, the people live in a different era here than the workers in the cities. But they are still attached to the government's arm of control of the Ba'ath Party. Every village has a cooperative of farmers, and like the workers, they must listen to speeches on politics. This is being held in the local schoolyard, so the farmers obediently sit at their desks and listen. They too were told that they must make sacrifices. And when they ask for more tractors or a new meeting hall, the requests are duly recorded by the secretary in the minutes. But later they are told, no, they must wait until the threat of war is over. When the vote is taken, they all agree with the party, and a democratic decision is taken.
Anyone's guess how this is going to finish. 2-1 currently.
One of the few places where politics does not gathering is inside the mosque. Syria's socialism is secular.
Well, they can't miss opportunities like
Contrast to Iran and other countries, it's not time for Muslim worship. Religion is encouraged so long as it stays out of politics. And today it does.
15 minutes left for play. Excellent ball over the top.
People in Syria seem to accept the state of control. They've had 13 years of stability under President Assad. They are not actively at war like Iran and Iraq, and they are comfortable with their lives. Most simply hope for a life where they can die in peace.
It's really a very good country. Too many farms, too many trees, too many good people.
The Syrian people are good. They're generous, and unlike some Mideast countries, they welcome Western visitors.
This is more especially for you, coming.
One man gave me his buri beads that he's carried for more than 20 years. Take them to Canada, he said, as my friend. The food had taken all day to prepare. 2 sheep had been killed in our honor and then boiled whole. We were the guests of what's called the hafla, the traditional feast. The food of that meal completely contradicted the Western image of Syrians as surly and serious. They love to celebrate with guests, possibly because a lot of the rest of their lives is anything but happy. Every day, 6 days a week, at 9:30 or so, government workers begin arriving. Syria is first and foremost a socialist country. All the bureaucracy and government buildings one imagines with it. People have jobs here, but go into any government building, and half the people are sitting around doing nothing. They're just waiting for 2 o'clock to come around, so they can go home. Many work only 4 hours a day. They're simply not motivated. It's a job that pays less than $200 a month. For that money, food is not a problem. Prices are kept low through government regulation of most basic products. And every corner shopkeeper has plenty to sell. He's also got lots of buyers for his typically fresh goods.
Who's going to get on the end of it?
If someone can afford a little more, a butcher will give you a slightly better cut than the government allows. But there are no lines, no shortages, and most Syrians, even the poorest, seem to have plenty to feed their families. Syria boasts that it has no real poverty, and from all we saw, they were right. The problems they do face are often familiar. Mrs. Al-Husseini's husband is a lawyer in their middle class. Their children average about 4 hours of television a night, Western TV in fact, and naturally it's sandwiched in between phone calls and homework. But they all live in a small apartment. It's a 4th floor walk-up, and their mother has to work just
حبيبني وعندك جنب في دليل وجعتني ولو اتكلمت عن كل اللي نفسك فيه غيرت الدراع شوف اخرتها ما حبيتنيش عندك كلام في دليل وجعك بيه ولو اتكلمت
The stage is set and the tension is palpable. 90 minutes of what should be highly entertaining and absorbing football to come. And it would take a brave person indeed to predict the outcome. What an enticing prospect. It's Liverpool, they take on Real Madrid, and it's coming up next on EA TV. And I must say, this stadium falls in the must-visit category for any football fan, should the chance come his or her way. The field is the venue. I'm Derek Ray, and my commentary partner, as always, is Stuart Robson. And with the atmosphere really building up nicely, we should be in for a terrific contest. It is Liverpool, and they take on Real Madrid.
Well, Derek, we can talk about coaches and their methods, but it's now down to the players. Which ones are going to stand out, who will affect the game, and who will have the greater desire? It should be a cracking game, though.
And Salah! And keeping it out.
Well, what a great stop that was to deny Liverpool such an early goal. But the warning signs are certainly there.
Happy to take on the shot.
غيرت
By
الدراع
the post. In a decent position now. And having a go! Well, the keeper kept it out with a minimum of fuss, but it wasn't a great effort. Real Madrid doing well to regain possession here. Can he convert? And foiled by Van Dijk. Well, rather than stop play immediately, the referee waited and now decides on a yellow card. A corner from Modric. The crossbar got in the way. Pressing like that will help the cause.
Well, Real are on the front foot here, and they're very unfortunate not to be leading after that effort.
And the flag raised. Offside it is. Real using width to good effect. Rodrigo. And foiled by Van Dijk. What can Real do from this position? Well, didn't go to plan in the end. Rodrigo. Now Now with Valverde. Long way out. Well, the shot looked promising, but the keeper had the measure of it. Szoboszlai. Into the advanced position. Full marks for trying it, but no fooling the goalkeeper.
No, it's too easy for the goalkeeper. It needed more height on it. Wasn't good enough, really.
Clear foul for a Real Madrid advantage. Possession lost, intercepted. Andrew Robertson. And Liverpool could get in behind the defence. Can they forge ahead? And under pressure, that was a fine play.
ليلة أمك السوداء.
Aurelien Tchouameni. Valverde. Might really be able to trouble them here. Teammates in the middle. Nicely blocked, but he's got to get rid of it. And a timely intervention. Free kick awarded to Liverpool. To put them ahead. Keeper did his job to begin with. And the keeper has it after that tension-laden sequence.
Well, what a great first save that was. How did he stop that?
Heard that pass all the way, cutting it out. Valverde and Bellingham. Attacking possibilities for Real. But nothing comes of it. Carvajal. And angling it back. Oh, tremendous reflex action by the keeper.
Well, he didn't have long to react, did he? But that's a top-class save, I have to say.
لو أكفي لو اتكلمت كل نفسك
A good
فيه
tackle.
بلاش تسمع
Rodrigo.
عشان
Well, how close was that?
انت
Inches
حتى
away.
بمبادئ عموما كان وجودك شر وعسلك كان بيده مر ولا راضي ولا مضطر أكمل عمري مهزوم بس عموما كان بعدها خير خدت بجد وقت كتير وحكايتنا رميتها كتير وسميتها اللي نفتكس
They're going to forge ahead. That's a fine save. Getting in there to intercept. Vinicius. And he's made headway. A goal to give them a 1-0 lead. An excellent value for that advantage, you've got to say.
Well, here's the replay. Watching him go past the ball with such ease, and he's just a change of pace. And once he gets onto it, he just smashes it past the keeper with great technique. What an emphatic finish that is.
Oh, bruising past him. Well, in the final analysis, it was good defending. Liverpool in a position of menace. Superbly read and executed. So nearly at half-time, and the home side trailing, albeit not by much. Stuart, your thoughts up to this point?
Well, they've not had quite enough purpose to their attacking play so far. It's all been a bit too predictable.
Oh, Stuart, opportunity here. Two goals in a matter of minutes. Incredible stuff.
Well, here it is again, and the keeper's lost his concentration here. He's totally in the wrong position. He'll be disappointed with that.
Well, the electronic board showing 1 additional minutes. Real in a good position. In there by Dani Carvajal. And with that, the first half draws to a close. Well, we're highlighting him for a reason. He's bossing the game, Stuart, and giving the defenders headaches.
Well, he's been brilliant today. His skill, his movement, his goals. What a good performance. And he's not finished just yet.
كل يوم خميس على التلفزيون العربي.
أنا ضايع من
المصري اليمن بجلد الأجزاء من قطر من أروى كاملة.
صدقني يا دكتور انا مش بهزر. الاسبوع ده قاعد يراودني احلام غريب، كوابيس يا دكتور مرعبه، حاجات استحاله تحصل في الواقع. تخيل كلمه ايه؟